Underneath the protective foam covers are first some user manuals. The first two shows the button layout of the 𝐑𝐄𝐈 Air and how to operate some of the features. The third is for the 𝐀𝐢𝐫 Space app, which we will show a little later in the review. Next we have two USB Type-C to Type-A adapters for connecting any peripherals to. There is a USB Type-C cable which is used for charging the PC gaming handheld. And last but not least is the charger, which comes with plug adapters for just about everywhere, and here is the 𝐑𝐄𝐈 Air, which looks amazing. Let's take a closer look at it now. Front of the 𝐑𝐄𝐈 Air. The screen is a 5.5-inch AMOLED high-quality touchscreen display. It looks great with bright and vibrant colors, as you will see later in the video. There's clickable dual Hall sensor analog sticks, which are magnetic sensors that reduce wear and tear and also prevent drifting. You have a nicely styled D-pad and your usual gaming buttons. There are two additional buttons that activate 𝐀𝐈 Space and show the desktop top of the 𝐑𝐄𝐈 Air. On the top are the left and right shoulder and Hall sensor triggers. There are also two additional LC and RC buttons on the end of the shoulder buttons that can be configured for shortcuts such as opening the on-screen keyboard. There is a USB Type-C port. And beside that is the volume rocker, followed by the power button, which has a built-in fingerprint reader. Bottom of the 𝐑𝐄𝐈 Air. On the bottom, for the first time on an 𝐑𝐄 gaming console, a much requested micro SD card slot, which is a great addition. Following that are a 3.5mm headphone port and a USB Type-C port. Benchmark comparison. We see around a 50% area increase in performance over the Win 600 across all of the benchmarks, which we hoped would be a little higher, but it is what it is. And compared to the 𝐑𝐄 Next Pro, we are seeing around a 30% increase in performance on system benchmarks on the Next Pro. But on the handheld gaming benchmarks, we see an increase between 85% to 134%, which is a massive difference. Benchmark summary. In our Win 600 review, we mentioned that it was ideal for playing your older game collection and emulation up to the Dreamcast and PlayStation era. As we will see shortly, the 𝐑𝐄𝐈 Air does play newer games, but with many you do have to compromise. It's fine for older games, but you're not quite sure where the limit is when you try newer ones. And if you want the latest higher-end games, then you may not have a great deal of luck. You should probably wait for the next generation Windows gaming handhelds with Ryzen 6000 series processors. To put it another way, the 𝐑𝐄𝐈 Air kind of reminds me of those awkward teenage years. You're not a child anymore and not old enough to go out drinking with the adults. It's a bit like that with the Win 600, 𝐑𝐄𝐈 Air, and any of the higher-end handhelds. With the Air sitting in the middle, not sure what it is supposed to do, Turtle Shredder's Revenge at 1080p runs great. We are getting a solid 60 frames per second. No issues at all here, and the graphics look amazing on the OLED. Turbo Golf Racing is a fairly recent game, and we did have to make some changes to get this running. We changed the resolution to 720p with low graphics and limited the frame rate to 30 frames per second. We do still get drops below 30 though. Fall Guys is enjoying some popularity again. Now it's free to play. We had to set the resolution to 720p with low graphics and limit the frame rate to 30 FPS. It remains a solid 30 FPS, so you could increase one or two graphic settings if you wanted to. Emulator tests. We round up our 𝐑𝐄𝐈 Air review with some emulator performance tests. The 𝐑𝐄𝐈 Air Retro Gaming Handheld is very capable of playing all your favorite 8 and 16-bit consoles with no problems at all. You can even lower the TDP to save battery life. We won't spend any time looking at those, and instead we will go up through the later console generations and see how they perform. PlayStation's SwanStation's Colin McRae Rally 2.0. PlayStation 1, as you would expect, works great.